Oh my God.
We're
live now. It's real now. It's real now. All right,
Okay, we gotta take it seriously.
I haven't been live in like 8 days. I am in a secret, undisclosed bunker location with great windows, hanging out with the Legend team this week in Texas. Everything is mental. My vacation was fantastic. I got to hang out on a boat. We launched the Uplift a few days ago. Everyone's gonna want to be on the Uplift in 72 hours. Anyone who has questions can ask, of course. Ping Cowie Moda. That's one of the fastest ways to get on the list or try and find somebody who's got invites on the list. Russell might actually have some invites before the end of the day. Just saying. I think he's got a lot of friends though. So it's just tons of stuff going on. YoshiDrops is popping off. Legend, they just had an auction for a one of one James Jean that sold for over $100,000. Like, you know, the NFT space might be dead on Ethereum, but we're just getting warmed up. And so I had a conversation with Russell yesterday morning. Time's blending. I don't know, was it yesterday morning?
It was.
But Russell, you've been super patient. We've been trying to have this conversation for a long time. And finally, we got a chance to just shoot the shit yesterday, and that was a blast. And of course, we wanted to go live and have you on and basically let you introduce yourself to our whole community because you got a lot of really cool stuff that's going on. So tell us everything.
Okay, and hopefully soon we'll be able to meet in person. It's just so funny the timing that you happen to live in Miami. We were all there for the big shows, and then that was when your wife decided to take you away.
I tried, like it was planned like literally a year ago. I told Ken like I'll do anything. Change when Shitcoin Fest is gonna happen. Just change it. It'll be fine. He's like, sorry, bro, I can't do it.
Yeah. It was amazing though, and it was just the vibe of being there and meeting everyone in person. And again, like it always comes back to community. What amazes me is the incredible support and how everyone is uplifting, no pun intended. But yeah, it really is. It's the perfect name because everyone just helps each other. Everyone's out to help to see other people succeed, and people measure their own success in the overall success of the community. It's very altruistic and it's a beautiful thing to be a part of.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So you know, how long have you been in crypto?
So I got into crypto around 2016, and when you know, I was at the time I was mostly being an angel investor, and I was looking for emerging markets and emerging technologies, and I stumbled across blockchain and Bitcoin. And once I wrapped my head around what this technology represented, that was it for me. I started my career in 1995, just as the internet was just starting to pick up, and I saw how over the course of 25 years, which is really such a short period of time in the grand scheme of things, that from 1995 to 2020, the internet changed every aspect of our lives. And I see the same potential with blockchain, and it's still in its infancy, and especially with respect to NFTs and how that technology is evolving into all these other areas. It's just incredibly exciting, and for me, I want to see this technology in the hands of as many people as possible. My goal from the beginning was about mass adoption, and I started my company EZ365, which was all about bringing new users into the space and making things simple, creating a supported and intuitive user experience, and really trying to get this technology into the hands, like I said, of as many people as possible, make it accessible, and really try to help facilitate mass adoption.
Awesome. So, yeah, sir, go ahead.
Yeah. So we started off. So EZ365 is a blockchain-based ecosystem. It's comprised of an exchange. We have EZ Exchange, which is live. We have EZ Win, which is a blockchain-based gaming and esports portal that we're building out for next year. We have EZ Academy, which is a learning portal that we're also building out. And our newest initiative is called EZ NFT. So I got into NFTs towards the end of last year in a big way personally, and have been involved this whole year.
Yeah. Sorry.
Just really, no problem. Just really immersively, and so I decided to form a new initiative for my company called EZ NFT, and the Genesis project for EZ NFT is called Renaissance 2.0, and the idea here is to try to bridge the gap between the traditional physical art world and the digital world of NFTs. And unfortunately today, there still is a big disconnect between the two. A lot of people in the traditional art world haven't been able to wrap their head around how NFTs bring value. Why are they worth what they're worth? And I think in that traditional art world, there is still a little bit of hesitancy in embracing NFTs. And so I figured, why not try to bring these two worlds together by offering iconic physical art that has standing and credibility in the traditional art world. So in this case, we took 5 Andy Warhol Marilyn Monroe prints from the Sunday Bee Morning collection, and we paired that, and I commissioned 5 artists to create unique one-of-one NFTs as almost as an homage to the Andy Warhol pieces. So it was their artistic interpretation. I asked the artists to do whatever they wanted from an artistic standpoint, be as creative as you want, carte blanche, and how does this Andy Warhol piece speak to you? And because Warhol was such an iconic person and so influential in the art world, and to this day, every artist, he means something different to every artist. And when you see how that manifested in this art, I mean, these 5 artists created some unbelievable artwork. And I am sitting on a treasure trove. I've got about 15 NFTs. All of them are going to be one-of-one in this sale. And this collection is really remarkable. And I'm just so proud of the work that these artists put in. They put their heart and soul into this. And so now my job is to give it the send-off that it deserves. And that's what we're working on for the drop right now.
That's awesome. When is the drop happening?
So we're actually looking at, nothing's confirmed yet. We're looking at a few different venues. And again, I wanted to extend this whole idea of combining physical and digital. So we are looking at Known Origin as the platform to hold the sale. But I want to have some sort of live event and even possibly integrate a live auction. I just love the whole idea of the Christie's and people sitting in the audience raising their paddles. And
right.
So I'm trying to work that all together. There's a really interesting crypto jazz festival happening in Newport Beach on the weekend of July 9th to 11th. And we're looking at that as a possible physical venue for this. There's going to be a lot of people there from NFT the movie, Jeff Crane involved. And so we're trying to coordinate all of that and maybe make it a really big event, a live drop and online auction at the same time.
That'd be amazing. So there's a guy by the name of Ronnie, who is working for Lgnd now, who was the main curator for Christie's for many years. And I was showing him the Uplift, and it's really fun too, like showing people from the art world and from different sort of walks of life. That when you first see the Uplift, you're just seeing Minecraft, right? Like, this doesn't mean anything. What are you talking about? And you kind of we go through the thing, like, here's the cathedral, here's some person owns this rail plot and they made this giant thing, whatever it is, right? And I think my favorite thing about these sort of demo tours now is that I haven't seen half the shit in there now. Like, people are building so many things so quickly that I'll just be randomly wandering around like, what the shit? Like this is amazing. And so people are getting like my excitement about it. So anyway, like watching Ronnie go from and he's just like a really super freaking sweetheart dude anyway. Like, he's a really, really nice guy. So like really curious, answering really good questions. And like about halfway through the call, he's sitting on the edge of his chair. He's like, oh yeah. Like, that's just like fun watching people kind of get the understanding not only where we are, which is a lot further ahead than I would have thought, but like we're going somewhere that's pretty spectacular. So that's really, really fun. And just like from the, a high-end art world kind of space, right? Like, it's these things are coming together. So I'm really excited that, you're doing the work to start bridging the gap between that sort of real world art culture and the way that those things, kind of work and play out and bring them into the NFT space. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I know myself as a collector, and I'm an avid collector of art and NFTs and collectibles, Top Shot. I dove into the NFT space with both feet, and occasionally I have bought artwork, and a few weeks later I'll receive something in the mail, a physical representation, and every single time that happens, I love it. And I'll be the first to talk up the value of NFTs and understanding where their value comes from. And I appreciate and I love that NFTs and digital assets are amazing, but it's human nature. When you hold something in your hand, you can't help but appreciate that and have that physical representation. So, that, and even in terms of displaying, every NFT in this sale is going to come with a physical display from Infinite Objects included, and that's a big part of it as well, because again, you've got to be able to, as a collector, you don't want to have to pull out your phone or your laptop when you want to show your artwork to your friends if they're over at your house,
right,
and you have, you know, a beautiful Andy Warhol, Marilyn Monroe print hanging on your wall. You should have the companion piece to that also physically available and either hung on the wall or displayed nicely, and you know, that's a big part of it. Is again we live in the real world. The metaverses are coming, but we are still physical beings, and so there has to be some sort of balance there, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I like it. Well, and it's just going to pull more people into the ecosystem too, right? So going back to your adoption thing, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like that at a high level. So when we started the company, it was really more about crypto. You know, back in that day, there wasn't, NFTs were just barely starting out. And our initial tagline was crypto for all. And that was the idea, is to have cryptocurrency reach a point where they are considered a legitimate alternative to other securities or assets or currencies, and investors take them seriously. And we've expanded that to today. Our tagline is digital assets in all their forms for all, because of course it's not just crypto anymore, although NFTs, you could argue, are tokens as well. But the point is that, you know, this NFT technology is so exciting to me, and I think that in 5 years there will not be a single video game that is not blockchain based with in-game assets in the form of NFTs. I think all collectibles, sports cards, comic books will all come as NFTs. And again, if you want a physical representation, people like to read comic books. I get it.
Right.
You pay a couple bucks and you get a printed version sent to your house, and then you can fold the pages and you can bend them, and you don't have to worry about destroying the value, and you can have fun. You can hold it in your hand, but the value when you go to sell it will be in the digital asset. And you know, I don't understand why all physical art today isn't automatically sold with an NFT. At the very least, embed the provenance and the certificates of authenticity and the history.
Right.
And that sale should also be registered, because the beautiful thing about blockchain is, you know, as we know, it's immutable and it's transparent, visible to all. And so it guarantees authenticity. You cannot have a fake NFT, just like you can't have a fake Bitcoin. It guarantees. Funny too.
We were talking about Ethereum NFTs and the fact that they're kind of not yours at all, right? It's a lot of them, some of them are, but like I think almost the majority still are, you know, not
IPFS,
right? They're not IPFS, and they're having to do this same kind of thing, right? So we're researching yesterday, and there's this company that is basically backing up your NFTs by basically doing what you're saying for like a physical art piece in that sale, but basically backing up all the schema information, all the data on IPFS, so that if/when you know bumfuck website decides to go down, that sold you an NFT for $100,000, like it's still going to be there, right? And so to me, like I've only ever been in the NFT space on Wax, so like I just like automatically assumed that when you say that you own this thing, they've made it so that you actually do. To find out that like where the vast majority of dollar volume has been going on, like they don't even have the basics down. And then you find out that they also can't do secondary market revenue. I'm like, why is anyone there? I honestly, I don't understand it. It's so much more powerful in this system. Any system that comes, after it is going to have to take the Wax blockchain as the base standard, as far as I'm concerned. And it's just weird that that's the case. So even on Ethereum, where it's supposed to be an NFT anyway, they're having to do exactly that same thing and back them up.
It's crazy. And I spoke to Ken about this actually, and I'm very determined to do a high-end fine art drop on Wax. I don't think it's been done yet.
It has. That's the Lgnd.Art. Like they just sold a James Jean. James Jean's one of the highest grossing artists on the planet. We actually did it. Lgnd.Art is the parent company for the Uplift now, right? So I know I'm like in Texas hanging out with them. This is how I know them. They sold a one-of-one art piece from him for over $100,000 last night
on Wax.
On Wax.
Did they use Atomic Hub or did they use a custom market?
No, Lgnd.Art.
Okay, nice. That's amazing. I think a lot of it is just due to perception. And I post on social media all the time about Wax. I'm a huge proponent from an environmental standpoint, from the gasless minting, from the transactions, instantaneous and free. There are just so many advantages to it. But people, I think, you go to Atomic Hub, you go to some of these Simple Market, you go to some of these marketplaces, and it just, for lack of a better word, seems like the junior circuit, like almost like childlike, sophomoric, like it's there for cute little collectibles that can be sold for a couple cents, and it's not really taken seriously the way Nifty Gateway or Maker's Place or some of these Ethereum-based marketplaces,
right?
That host quote unquote high-end artists.
Yep.
And there's no reason for it. It's really just the way that it started on Ethereum, I guess, and Ethereum was the only option back in 2017 when CryptoKitties kicked things off, and I think it's just one of those momentum things. Just people continue to use it. And we're guilty of that as well right now. We're doing this drop on unknown origin, but a lot of that is due to the aspects of marketing, and again, it's just it's going to take time to change that perception. But I am very determined to do it, and I personally love Wax, and
yeah,
we're all part of that community.
Yeah, no, I think it's the same. I think it's the same way. And like Legend is going to be like we've got 30 high-end artists already signed on. Like this is it's already happening, right? And people will catch up to it eventually, which is great. But yeah, I mean we're talking big huge brands now and stuff too. And that's like, you look at the brands, like brands have been coming to Wax as well. Because you want to be able to go at scale. And I guess it makes sense. Like it has made sense to just stick with Ethereum, because if you're selling something for $100,000, the transaction fee doesn't matter, right?
That's right.
But like having the ability to sell something for $100,000 and then getting like secondary market for the rest of time, right? And I know some places on Ethereum have done this, and good for them. I think it's almost mandatory as far as I'm concerned now. But having the situation where now on like James Jean has and will like be able to sell an art piece out to 1 million people, right? So it's not like we're now combining the idea that you've got this high end culture of whale collectors or whatever, right? Which is
exclusivity, right?
And that's awesome. But personally, I would much rather sell 1 million NFTs for $1 than one NFT for $1 million, right? Because that people power, that attention sort of space is much more valuable long term than the fickle wants and needs of 10 billionaires.
Yeah, and then you get the network effect, which is so important,
right? Exactly. Well said. Yep.
Yeah, and then the secondary market sales, like when is that one guy going to sell that piece, and who's he going to sell it to? But if you got 1 million guys with a dollar NFT out there, you're getting thousands of sales a day.
Like, so we dropped 1 million Yoshi coins for free. The secondary market value on that already is mind-boggling.
Yep, I know, because I'm buying them every day.
So am I.
And I don't even know what they're for.
He's like, what are we doing? I don't even understand. Yeah, luckily, like I'm in the room, so I kind of know what we're doing. But yeah, no, I get it. With the Yoshi coins too, like we had some people complain, and of course, like we talked to all the projects that we targeted. We asked them like, hey, do you guys want to be included on this list? Is it okay if we drop people that own your NFTs? And of course, all of them said like, you want to give our fans value? Like, all right, go ahead, right? So we do that, and like some projects or people, I guess they got like Atomic Hub got like 7 complaints about it or whatever. Like, oh, this feels spammy. We're like, oh, pumpkin, you're fine, right? But that was we love Jonah from Atomic Hub, and of course he has to take that incoming, so we want to be nice about it or whatever. And so we're trying to figure out how to do, like, we're targeting a pretty high end celebrity. We're doing a free promo drop to anyone that has more than 2 Yoshi coins. And we were thinking about making it opt-in and doing this big thing and like trying to be super nice about it. But instead, Blue this morning just said, hey, we're doing this in a couple of days. You have a couple of days to burn your Yoshi coins. If you really hate getting free stuff, you can burn them. That's fine. We're okay with that, right? Or you can wait till tomorrow when he said Yoshi's gonna buy 90 Blue said Yoshi's gonna buy 90 coins at market tomorrow, right? So if you want to put them on sale, you're welcome. Here's $5, right? Or whatever it is, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna do that too. I'll buy another 90. Freaking, I feel like you're threatening me with a good time. Let's rock and roll. And so like just like flipping the whole people wanted to complain about this methodology or whatever, when seriously, like, you can just get rid of them out of your wallet. You can burn them, you can sell them, you can do whatever you want.
Who complains about a free airdrop? I don't understand. I got 1 or 2 coins, and then I looked again, and I had like 4, and then I looked again, I had 7.
Yeah.
I'm going to complain about that? That's ridiculous.
That's kind of where I landed. I was not super sympathetic, but again, like, I'm super sympathetic for Jonah, because again, as if you're running any project, the second you start getting like negative incoming, that's just like draining and soul sucking and usually nonsense in the way that this kind of is. So yeah, I mean, anybody who hasn't seen that, if you seriously don't want to get a celebrity drop that we're doing with Yoshi coins in a couple days, burn your Yoshi coins or sell them the fuck to me, and we'll just be done. And you can go on about whatever super serious important thing you were doing before complaining about this.
And I have to say, like, this whole thing with these Yoshi coins and these miners, it really is a testament to what you and MBlue have already done in Uplift, and the credibility that you've established. That myself and I'm going to shout out TC Dixon, who might be watching right now. I told him to tune in. TC, but he's buying up every coin he can find, and my morning routine is, I cash out all my ether, I turn it into wax, I buy an Art Planet rig or 2, and then whatever little bit of coins left over, I just buy whatever wax I have left over, I buy coins and miners and just keep adding to my pile. And again, I have no idea what they're for. I see the little icons in the corner, the battery and the little dial. I'm like, okay, that's going to mean something. I know that. So I'm just going to, for now, I'm just collecting. And Corey and MBlue will tell us what these are for at some point down the road.
Yeah. And MBlue and I talk about this all the time. Like, we know how much trust is put in us. And we talk about not how to like deliver on those promises, but how to dramatically over deliver on those promises all the fucking time. Right. It just it's what's in us. And really, I think, like, because we really enjoy that anyway, I think that's probably why this has been working so well. It's like, when we say a thing is going to do a thing, it's probably going to do a thing. Right.
Yeah. Like my attitude is, I've seen enough. I'm all in.
That's awesome. And really, like, that now, and it really is, like, it's our responsibility now to make that fucking real. Like, and that's something that I mean, we just won't quit until people are like, how the fuck did you do all that? And usually when they do that, we're like, we have no idea. We just kept doing shit until it worked.
Yeah. And again, it speaks to this larger aspect of artists supporting themselves through passive income, staking NFTs, allowing them to focus on their passion, and they're going to say, Art Planet or Uplift, and hopefully soon Upliftium will be enough, and all these passive income streams are going to pay the bills, and now I don't have to think about that, and I could just sit there and create art and do my passion all day long.
Yep.
It's changing lives every single day. It's changing people's lives, and we're barely scratched the surface. Like, that's what excites me so much.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we're just getting warmed up, and that NFT DeFi, because I've been kind of messing around in the DeFi space to kind of learn about it or whatever, right? And the way that inflation is happening, the way that tokens are being distributed, the way things are being incentivized in DeFi, which has become a $1 trillion market, is not different than our planet. It's the same. Right? You're being incentivized to hold a thing. That's it. Right? And so, thinking backwards from all the different tools that exist, around Uniswap, around PancakeSwap, those kind of things, and the kinds of things that we're doing in this space, and that our planet has proven worked, and I think to a lesser extent around the staking stuff, Alien Worlds is playing in that space as well. That it seems a lot more fascinating to me than we have blockchains and guilds, and they're getting inflation by having proof of stake in this wax system or in EOS or what have you, right? Bitcoin, their inflation is from having massive rooms of computers, guessing a very, very large number, which is adorable. It's worked, it's done its job, but we get to value whatever we want to value and create a token and create an ecosystem around that token or collection of tokens that incentivizes just your stake in our whole ecosystem, right? And what we value is art and creativity and freaking win and metaverse and all these things, right? And so instead of spending $1 zillion on a Bitcoin mine. We're just valuing something else. And as long as there is constantly more people growing this community, same for Bitcoin or any other project, even Tesla stock, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? As long as that network effect is growing, and as long as people have a lot of reasons to go to some exchange and buy a token like Ether or whatever, because you need it to buy a specific thing that you want. As long as there's demand, right? We've done supply, we've done demand, and we can create something that's really magical. And I think the entire ecosystem is moving in a direction where, communities and projects and tribes basically just have their own, and we're already seeing it, right? But I think that it's moving more so. And NFTs are a core functionality of that, right? Like that you have that singular identifiable either art piece or a store of value. We were doing some research yesterday on Uniswap version 3. Their LP token is no longer going to be an LP token. It's going to be a freaking NFT.
Really?
Yeah. Which is really nice. So Nathan, one of the head devs from Lgnd.Art, Nathan Rempel, who's a freaking genius, like terrifyingly smart. And literally the night before over a beer, he's talking about how, with a lot of the stuff that we're planning on doing, maybe we, create a situation where that NFT has a mutable, attribute and basically allows us to append data to it or whatever, which is exactly almost exactly the language that Uniswap is using in their version 3 stuff. And he's just tossing ideas around. So there's a direction that a lot of this stuff is moving into, where the reasons why NFTs have worked in the way they are going to be functional in DeFi in a lot of different ways. And so NFT DeFi is going to, I think, garner a percentage of $1 trillion market, right? And so we should probably get on that, I think.
It's incredible, and I'm really interested to see how, like you said, how that intersection of NFT and DeFi evolves, because and you're right, our planet is in a sense single asset staking. The only difference is that because you're staking a non-fungible token versus a fungible token, the whole AMM process can't really function the same way, because you can't pull a little bit out of what you've staked. But maybe there's a way to convert NFTs into fungible tokens for the purposes of this. I would love to see a Uniswap for NFTs, if there's a way to kind of get that AMM marketplace.
Something like that, or where the your sort of proof of stake comes in an NFT, and it basically means it's not sectioned out. Like you've got a number certain that you either have or you don't have. It becomes binary, right? That's not necessarily bad, right? Like for our planet mining rigs, I have 100 of them. I can sell one. I could sell one. That one's gone. Doesn't matter. And that percentage rate of my share of the inflation pool, just that goes away, right? And so it's not. I don't think it's going to be any different. But I think where it's going to get really, really interesting is you're going to have NFTs that will be proof of stake in multiple projects.
And that's where you get the LPs from different places, all from one NFT. That's crazy.
Not that we talk about crazy shit all day over here, but that's what we do.
Oh
and I think and part of how these conversations go too is once other people start realizing this, it is inevitable. This is what's going to happen. It becomes real obvious that this is the direction it's going to go, and then it's kind of on us to be like, all right, well, we should probably get to work and at least do our level best to be first.
Yeah. And you know what? Our planet is a perfect example of why you could never do this on Ethereum, because I had at one point, before they switched the allocation, my biggest collection was Colabox, because they would mine 3.2 per hour each, and you could buy them for about 3.5 wax. It was like a 1-to-1 ratio. I had over 5,000 of them staked, and
see, I knew we were gonna be friends, but I bought 10,000 Alien Worlds NFTs. Right?
I was only looking at that ratio, mining power to wax. That's all I care about.
Right, and that's all anyone should care about, right? That's the whole thing. And this is when back then. I mean, I think Aether was less than half of what it even is now, right? And so we're still looking at this ratio, and like, but when I realized, like, and I was like, the way that I was, this is when your busiest part, like 18 hours a day on the Uplift, like I wasn't sleeping, you know, and in the morning I was like, okay, I have coffee, I'm just gonna do this dumb thing where I literally buy one Alien Worlds NFT at a time just to calm my brain down, right? And everyone's laughing at me like, you're an idiot, our planet's never gonna work, fucking laughing. I'm like, hey, I'm sure you're right, whatever, that's cool. And you know, I bootstrapped those 10,000, you know, all the stuff I was making into rigs, into everything else, right? And now, you know, I my little mining rig makes, you know, more than minimum wage, 24 hours a fucking day. So like, you know, keep laughing, buddy, right? And some of those same people now are like, oh, I'm really jealous. I'm like, well, you know, hopefully that laughter was pretty expensive.
Yeah, like a 10,000 an hour rig gets you about $60 a day, like all day, every day, $1,800 a month.
Well, and that's when, like, when I did Alien Worlds was the same thing. It was like 3 or 4, right? So like it was like 3 or 4,000, or 30 or 40,000 an hour back then. Right? Obviously, it's dead now. And you know, when they nerfed it, I was like, thank you. Because it's the health of the ecosystem is far more important than, you know, the nickel and diming on an NFT source that's like exponential. It's ridiculous, right? Yeah, you can't. And Kolobok, somebody actually told me about the Kolobok farming. I got into that shit hard. Like I have more Koloboks than God, and it was the same thing. Just like go in 15 minutes a day or some nonsense, run the stupid things through the stupid thing, and like I was farming. Like I wasn't even buying them, which is so funny. And
I was compounding every hour. I would literally cash out, like I would get like 100 wax, and then I would go to Simple Market and I'd buy like 30 or 40 Kolobok and stake them, and the next hour I do the same. I was compounding hourly.
Oh, dude. That, I mean, it's the thing, like, and we're basically doing, you know, the DeFi version of what everyone's doing on, you know, Pancake Swap and Uniswap or whatever. Like, if you can compound that quickly in a meaningful way, things get weird fast. And
the
I assure you,
exponential math.
Things are weird now, right? Yeah, that's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be nuts.
But to your point, as soon as they switched to the allocation model and those Koloboks went from 3 to like 1.5 and started bleeding every hour, I started unstaking and selling them and converting that wax into our planet. But I unstaked over 5,000 Koloboks over a couple of weeks. And again, like my wife was laughing at me. I'd be sitting there like click, 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 click.
Hey,
click,
dude,
click.
You know NFT hives. You know they have bulk staking and unstaking, right?
I learned that right after I finished. I sold all 5,000.
Oh my god! Yeah. So, and I still actually have most of my Alien Worlds NFTs. Like when they first went over to Binance, and like everything started going crazy, I made far more than what I spent on all of them just selling shovels.
Yeah.
Right, crazy. or like I think it was the set, not shovels, but the second, because I actually gave most of my shovels to Sammy Snake, the freaking like one shovel can change the world guy. Like their whole community is just like giving noobs extra shovels. I'm like, you guys are adorable. But yeah, you know, like I said, all those, and I still have all my Koloboks, and I don't know what to do with them now. Like I just sort of, and I didn't have time to kind of mess around with it. And honestly, I don't even know how many I have. So that's funny. But you know, my mother-in-law, I got her into, because she's like the kind of person who just plays those like stupid Farmville things or whatever. Like never touch those again. Here's Alien Worlds. Just click mine. You know, maybe you'll get an NFT or whatever. And she kind of does that every once in a while. That's kind of fallen off a lot just because you don't get NFTs as much anymore, and so it's not as fun. But the Kolobok thing, like she's still doing that all the time. Right, just getting the prizes, doing the things, and like eventually they're gonna figure out some, I think they're doing like this beauty contest thing for Kolobok. Like I don't fucking get it whatsoever. But like these projects that are like seeing ebbs and flows of traffic through them are gonna start learning like what do we need to do to bring attention and value back. And and again, it's still right at the beginning, like that.
That's the craziest thing. And you see with Axie Infinity, what's happening in the Philippines and all over the world, and literally entire communities and families are supporting themselves with real money. And that you have SLP now traded on Binance, so there you go. Like it's just easy. Like it's all this integration and like you said, like it's overwhelming when you think about where we're going to be 6 months out, 12 months out, 24 months out. We can't even imagine, and I always use this analogy that in the late 90s, as the internet was just starting to pick up and people were still scoffing and, oh, email's a fad and internet's a fad. And, you know, I knew that this was going to change the world, but even I and people like myself could not imagine things like Uber and Airbnb and just the ubiquity of these smartphones and what the power of that puts us, you know, in our hands and in our pockets. And like right now, we're sitting here and where NFTs are going to be in 2 years' time, if we could get a glimpse, our minds would be blown. Never mind, you know, the rubes and the people that don't know. So that's what's so exciting is that, you know, every day in crypto is like 2 weeks in the real world, and every day in NFTs is like 2 weeks in crypto. It's like Interstellar when they were on that planet and they got stuck for an hour and 17 years went by on Earth. That's what it feels like being in the NFT space.
Yep, it sure does. It sure does. All right, Russ, I gotta run. I'm gonna actually join Jimmy for the Uplifter show for the first time in too long.
Nice.
I gotta roll, but we're gonna have to do this again because this was really
absolutely fun. Yeah, for sure. This was a great time. Thanks a lot, Corey. Really appreciate it.
All right, man. So EZ365.io. Is there anywhere else that people should go to find you?
The project itself is under Renaissance2.io, and if you don't know how to spell Renaissance, REN2.io, and all the information is there.
Ren2.io.
That's it.
Pretty good. I love it. All right, thanks, man. Awesome. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, take care, man.
Ciao. Bye.